welcome back to my channel. If you are new, hi, my name is Hannah, and click the subscribe button if you want to be subscribed, and click the notification button if you want to be notified whenever I upload new videos. So today I'm finally doing a video about my line of work. Ever since I tell people that I am an online worker, I work from home, that I'm a virtual assistant, they always have questions, and I figured why not just make it into a video and probably help some of you out. Just a disclaimer, I am not an expert. I can only share what I have experienced throughout my 4 years of being a virtual assistant. So before I jump into it, let me just give you a little bit of background. So first, I was a customer service representative. I was a call center agent at Teletech for 13 months. I quit working there, and for a short period of time while I was waiting for something, I also applied at my outdesk as a virtual assistant as well. But they have a training bond. I think that was 6 months, and I wasn't sure if I would be in there for the long haul, so I didn't continue my application there. Afterwards, I applied at a local BPO company in my city. So in this BPO company, I was handling Amazon seller accounts or an account. I was no longer taking calls, which is what I did at Teletech. I was handling emails, customer service tasks, still customer service tasks, answering queries, replying to emails, replying to comments on certain products and all of that, fulfilling shipments and stuff like that. I was only there for maybe a little over a month. One of my colleagues there also worked online in addition to that BPO job, and our head also was looking around online jobs as well. So we kind of help each other out in regards to that. We were like sharing our experiences, sharing sites and all of that. While I was searching around, I told my sister to tell a friend of hers who has been working online for quite a while. She's still working online as of the moment, and at the time she did have a position open for me. It was a data entry position. It was mostly research, and I took that job. It was really just part-time. So after I clock in my 9 hours at that BPO company, I log in for about 4 hours with the data entry position. But honestly, I didn't last long there because it just wasn't the job for me. I was tasked to scrape data, look for contact information for professionals and facilities that's in line with the company that I was working with. It just didn't float my boat. Didn't really stimulate me in my brain, so I had to let that go. But before I did that though, I was still applying to sites. I was still applying to job postings, and while I was on break with that job, I saw that somebody replied to my job posting saying that I actually didn't follow the instructions on the job post. So the job post asked for me to, I think, give them a call or leave a voicemail on Skype, but I didn't have credits on my Skype account, so I told them that I didn't have any credits for Skype. So I just kind of went ahead and sent in my application in hopes that they would still consider me, and thankfully they did. We had a interview right then and there because I was available right then and there. I was not prepared at all. It was just a voice call. So I got the job. I bagged the job right then and there. It was actually through Online Jobs PH, and I think they didn't have any like contracts like Upwork does. I proactively told them that I would require a advance payment. I'm not sure if it was a week's worth or a month's worth, but some sort of advance payment. And I didn't even start right then and there because I had to go out of town, I think maybe a week after I was hired. So I didn't even start right away, but they sent the money anyway, which was really, really cool of them. Because how would they know that I would run with the money or not, you know? And I've been with them since 2015. I've also had another online job. It's actually with Ella, another YouTuber here. It's a different line of business, but for both companies, I was a virtual assistant. So with Ella, I actually got promoted to be a team leader. So for the long-term job, there really isn't a specific position, but I guess if there is one, I'm probably the head VA or something like that. I had to let the job with Ella go because I was juggling 2 jobs and my classes as well, and I was, I think, graduating at the time or just about. So I had a lot on my plate, and so I had to let that job go. So what I currently do, I am a virtual assistant. I basically do admin tasks. I basically do everything in the company operations wise. So I answer calls, reply to emails, make sure everything's good and running, make sure nothing is being missed. So it is a pool company, so I just have to make sure that the clients are happy and that my employers are happy. In the previous job, I also just had to oversee the team, do a couple of tasks. I'm not sure how much I can disclose, but basically I was making sure everything is running smoothly on both jobs. That's kind of what I do. I oversee, make sure everything is being done, and make sure they're being done right as well. In regards to platforms, it depends on what you're trying to apply for. You could be a virtual assistant like what I do, but it is very broad, or at least that's what people say. For me, it's not broad. Virtual assistant is you're an assistant that works from home. People say that it's a big umbrella. I personally don't think so, because if you are an IT programmer, a website designer, I don't think you're a VA. I don't think you're an assistant. I think you're a programmer that works from home. So it's very subjective, basically, but if you're looking to be an assistant, then there are a lot of platforms for that. I can't really speak much for like programming and all of that, but if you are very good with programming, website building, content creating, you know, writing blogs and stuff, writing content, writing articles, if you're good with editing, animation, graphics, making posters and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of platforms for those as well. So from my experience, Upwork is up there, but it's very strict nowadays. It was strict when I entered, and it's very strict right now. So I don't recommend it as highly as others would, just because it's a hard platform to get through. If you're just starting out, then it's pretty hard to get hired. The next one would be Online Jobs PH, just because that's where I got my job. A colleague of mine in the same pool company got hired from virtual staff finder, I believe. And then there's always Facebook groups. There are a lot of people who post job postings. I'm a member at Online Filipino Freelancers and Philippine Virtual Assistants. I'm mostly searching or browsing through online Filipino freelancers most of the time. If you're also looking to be, and if you're mostly looking for a creative type of position like editing and logo making, stuff like that, I do recommend 99designs.com. It's not really a contract type of thing. The situation is where somebody posts like they want a logo for their business, they describe what they want, and you put in a design, and there are a lot of people who would put in a design, submit a design, and the client will just choose which ones they like. If you're also open to being a English as a second language teacher or an ESL teacher, there are different platforms for that as well. I know of 51 Top. I tried to apply, but their training conflicts my work schedule, so I didn't push through with that as well. They have Bismates as well and Akadsock. MyOutness.com, the site that I applied before, I think is still good. That's basically the platforms that I know of. Plus, if you have friends that you know who are working online, it doesn't hurt to ask them if they have any job postings. So what do you need to become a online worker? Well, definitely a computer. It doesn't have to be all high specs, but it doesn't hurt. Just make sure that it performs the basic tasks. Make sure you have a wired connection. Wi-Fi is acceptable for some, but a wired connection is required for other clients. And of course, you also need a noise canceling headset. If your work doesn't require any voice, any calls, then you can make do without that. When it comes to salary, it of course varies per client, per platform, per website. I believe Upwork takes 10%, I think, of your salary, and some platforms, especially if they're like agencies that hook you up, because I think My Outness works as what they train you, and then after the training period they look for clients for you, and because of that your pay is more secured because it's that agency paying you as opposed to a direct client paying you. So it's just like a BPO, just a virtual BPO company. Those types of companies sometimes offer stuff that you can't get from a client, from a direct client, such as HMOs and SSS and stuff like that. Although that can also be arranged with a direct client. So it really just depends on your contract and your agreement between your client and the agency and whatnot. So just to give you a disclosure of, or just to give you an idea of how much I earned back in 2015, I earned about like $103 per week. I think the dollar rate was about 45 pesos. So that's like 4,600 per week, but it really goes up and down. So let's do 4,500, and in a month that's like 18,000 pesos. Again, I didn't have to pay taxes. I didn't have to, meaning it wasn't taken out of my pay automatically. I have to file for it if I want to. If you're asking whether I experience a raise, then yes, I think I'm subject to a raise, or at least they offer a raise every year. I just remind them that it's my work anniversary and then they're like, oh, okay, here's a raise. But my clients, my employers are very, very kind, and I just could not let them go. They're just really, really kind and very understanding, very considerate. I love them. In relation to the salary, you can receive your payment in different sites or in different ways as well. From my experience, I have received via PayPal and Payoneer. Those are the only two methods that I've tried. I definitely heard of TransferWise, Zoom, and even direct bank transfers, but I haven't experienced those, so I can't really say much. PayPal definitely has a bigger fee, so that's one reason why we shifted to Payoneer. And I also think Payoneer is a partner with Online Jobs PH. I think that's one reason why we shifted. I think Payoneer has a bigger, or just a slightly higher currency conversion rate as compared to PayPal, so I'm not complaining. I guess that's basically it. I'm definitely sure that I didn't cover everything, but if you do have any questions, don't hesitate to leave them down below. We'll try my best to answer them. Hopefully they will be questions that I know the answers to. I guess that's it. If you have any tips, don't hesitate to leave them down below as well. I'm pretty sure future viewers of this video will appreciate it if you leave your tips below. I guess that's it. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video when life goes to bananas. Make banana pies, and I hope you keep staying true. Bye!